Connections website. The first item on our agenda is public participation. The first item on our agenda at each regularly scheduled school committee meeting, public participation provides an opportunity for members of the community to address the school committee. Those wishing to do so should contact the chairperson in advance of the meeting, and you will be recognized for up to 3 minutes. Tonight, Mr. Bryan Moss is requested to address the committee, and we will hear from him at this time. Mr. Moss.
Great, thanks. Bryan Moss, 16 Ruthven Circle. So I just wanted to note that I'm speaking only on my behalf about my own opinions and concerns and not on behalf of any other person or group. With the artificial turf groundbreaking earlier this week, Shrewsbury is now moving forward to install a nearly $1 million investment in plastic that will bring hundreds of thousands of pounds of plastic in contact with our students, athletes, and our drinking water supply over the next several decades. At a time when plastic pollution and climate change are urgent and rising public health threats to our children, families, and communities, Shrewsbury will have to deal with this plastic legacy for the next half a century. The plastic field is made out of fossil fuels that by themselves have extreme exploitive and extractive impacts to communities from where they are sourced and contribute to climate change. And the plastic field will be generating hundreds of thousands of pounds of plastic waste every decade over and over again with no end in sight. The plastic field is in direct opposition to the bold actions and solutions today's youth now expect from those in leadership positions that make policy decisions like this. It is unfortunate that Shrewsbury has gone down this plastic path when a safer and lower cost alternative in high-use natural grass fields that are organically managed is available. This summer, the turf company will profit while the citizens of Shrewsbury will prepare to burden all of the risks that the turf company leaves behind in its wake. Our risk, their reward. If, as you have stated, there is no risk to our drinking water, then why not ask the turf companies to provide a written guarantee that the plastic field will not affect our drinking water? And why not ask them to agree in writing to be financially responsible to pay for the cleanup of any drinking water issues that may occur from the fields in the future? If Shrewsbury wants to learn from the past, notice how Shrewsbury taxpayers are the ones that are dealing with paying and dealing with the hexavalent chromium in our drinking water, not the company that caused the problem decades ago. A lesson is to be learned from how those that sell us these products externalize all of the costs and future risks. If, as you have stated, there is no risk to our students and athletes from exposure to the plastic turf and silica sand dust, for example, up to 30% of the EnviroFill plastic may be expected to wear off according to its warranty, then why not ask the turf companies to provide a written guarantee that the plastic field will not negatively affect the health of the students and athletes? And why not ask them to agree in writing to be financially responsible to compensate any medical problems that may arise down the road from kids inhaling the plastic dust, microplastics, and plastic-related chemicals? Hopefully you can get those written guarantees from the turf companies, but if not, then I would ask the school committee to provide the source of the guarantees that were made to town meeting members last year, specifically that there is no increased health risk to our students and that there are no environmental risks with installation of this turf field. Additionally, now that the plastic field is being installed, what are the school committee's plans this summer for the operational procedures around the following? Plans for monitoring heat to avoid heat stress, GMAX testing to avoid injuries, disinfecting to reduce infection risk, monitoring students' exposure to chemicals, monitoring field water runoff, monitoring the town's drinking water for microplastics and associated chemicals, and monitoring the finances for the future carpet replacement, including the education of those concerns so that parents are educated about them. Thank you, and please feel free to ask me questions.
Do you have any written materials for the committee, Mr. Moss?
Not at this time.
Okay, thank you. And just as a courtesy, as I mentioned last time, the school committee does not intend to revisit this decision.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is chairpersons and members' reports. Members, anything to report?
Nothing.
Mr. Wensky.
I just want to mention I had a chance yesterday to attend the groundbreaking of the Shrewsbury High School athletic field project that we kicked off yesterday. I'd like to congratulate everybody involved, leadership, fundraising committee. I know it's an exciting time for our student athletes in the town, so thank you to all involved.
Wonderful event.